So I wanted to really quickly do a video on how a auburn color works on someone who's naturally a dark blonde. What I use is the Garnier Nutrisse Nourishing Color Cream in number 535. It's medium golden mahogany brown. It's not technically auburn, but with my hair being naturally dark blonde, it has a lot of gold and red highlights in it naturally. So it picks up a lot more of the red that's in the dye, which you, I think, can see. Well, looks just kind of brown now, but it's pretty faded. My roots have come in badly. There we go. Right here, you can see that up here. Well, it's not really showing up that light. It's showing up kind of dark. But naturally, it is a very dark level 7. With a lot of red and gold. But when I use this, it doesn't look as brownish as it does on the box. Well, it looks kind of, no, it looks a lot more red in person than it shows on the box, which I prefer. This one's mainly auburn, I guess, but it seems more red, at least in the sunlight, than brown. I last did this at the beginning of February, and it's now almost May. It lasts pretty well, lasts well enough, I guess. It doesn't fade too terribly, although maybe it really does and I just don't notice it because I see it every day. So once I put this on my hair, it'll look a lot different. I will show you, though, what it looks like after I dye it. Quickly too, for my length, I use 2 boxes. I don't think it really matters what color it is, but with this brand, at least I find that it's fairly runny. I don't think it's really that thick. And that being said, I do need more dye than you would really think, I guess. I don't know, than you would really think my hair would. What else can I say? One thing I do recommend if your hair is lighter, because on here it says light brown, medium brown, or black if that's your natural hair color. So it's really not advised that if you're naturally a very dark blonde to use it. If you do and you are naturally a dark blonde, I recommend, if they say, I think it's, what is it, after, if you haven't dyed your hair in 8 weeks or something, or maybe it's 3 months, just put it all over your head as opposed to doing this, or just doing the regrowth and then the dye. I did that the last time I dyed it because it had been, I think, 3.5 months since I last dyed it. I don't recommend putting it all on. What I recommend is if your hair is any tone of red and your hair is naturally a dark blonde, or any color blonde, although if it's a light blonde, I wouldn't recommend dyeing it this dark with this red because it might turn out really weird. Do only do the regrowth, let it sit, and then do the rest. Because what I found, and I think it might be faded enough now, or at least in this light you might not be able to see it, but when I did the whole head at once, the regrowth, and excuse my eczema, my hands are cracking, but the regrowth was still lighter than all of this. So it didn't, how am I wording it? It didn't dye all of it in one uniformed color. So if you have any sort of regrowth, even if it's been like 4 months, do not just put it all over your head. Make sure you do the regrowth, let it sit, and then do the whole thing, because you will notice as soon as you rinse it out that your regrowth will be lighter than your already dyed hair after you redo it. Make sense? I think so. I hope so. Hi, so I wanted to show you the after. This is the box of it. And this is what it looks like after I do the roots and then let a little bit of it go on the rest of my hair as well. Now, the roots do, again, well, I don't know how this is going to be edited because the first half was ridiculous and it didn't make any sense and it was jumbled, and this half probably will too, but whatever. So, my hair is naturally very dark blonde, so being dark blonde, it picks up, at least for me, with my hair having a lot of gold in it and red in it, well, a little bit of red in it naturally, but a lot of gold, it picks up more red than brown. So on the box, I mean, it's similar to the box when it's not in the light. But it's still, I don't know. In person, it looks a little more red than hers does on the box. Oh, maybe you can't see the box. Than hers does on the box. And then I don't know if I can get to sunlight. Oh, there we go. And then I don't know if you, oh, hopefully you can see that in the sun. It is pretty red. And hopefully it shows up that way on the camera. When I dye mine, I use 2 boxes to make sure everything is thoroughly saturated. The total amount of dye that I actually put on my head is only about 1.5 bottles, just because I really want to make sure everything is soaked. What I do for my roots is I mix it all up in the bottle, and then from there I squirt the bottle into one of the little mixing bowl things with the brushes. I separate, I do top, flip, bottom, separate. Top, flip, bottom, separate. And I do that all the way. I do the top first, even though the bottom half of your hair, well, I guess, you know, the top, the crown and the top and everything, the color will take quicker there because your hair is more damaged, and the healthier your hair, the harder it is for it to take the color. But I don't do the back first because your natural hair color, when you don't have any dye on, I mean, if it's not like super dark brown or black, the underneath is always a little darker than whatever it is on top. So even here, well, it's fairly even. This is a smidgen darker underneath than it is on the top. Just because naturally this part isn't, I guess, as blonde or as light as this is. So doing this last, it picks up less of the red, if that makes sense. What else? Now, for mixing this, what it does, I should have saved some of the bottles. I might be too close to the camera. What it has in it is it has the bottle itself of the hair color. Then it has, the developer. Then it has the little tube of the actual color, cream color. And then it has a little, I don't know, like capsule of an oil. And the oil, I think that's what it talks about right here. Nutrisse with a separate ampule of grapeseed oil starts nourishing while you color. Its unique formula protects against dryness while locking in your radiant color and moisture. The nourishing avocado conditioner is infused with 2 more fruit oils, olive and shea, for silkier, softer, healthier looking hair. Now the thing is, when I was doing mine, I kind of forgot to put it in when I was doing the roots. So because I only do 1 bottle at a time, so I mixed up that bottle and then I squirted it in the thing, and I forgot to do put this in the bottle when I was mixing it. So the roots don't have any of it, and I mean, they don't feel really any worse for the wear. So the second bottle, I did remember to put it in. So I put it in, mixed it up, and then squirted that whole bottle into what was left of the first bottle, mixed it up, and that's what I used for the rest of my hair. Because I mean, it's all the same color. I really don't think it matters if one was sitting for maybe 15 or 20 minutes before the other one. Now, as for developing, it says, and this is where it's tricky, for root touch-up, it has you do your roots, let it sit for 20 minutes, and then put the rest on for 5. Or I guess put the remainder of the concentration on the remainder of your hair for 5 minutes. So a total of 25 minutes. But the problem with that is, you do this, you let this sit for 5 or for 20, then you begin to do the rest of your hair and let that sit for 5. Your total amount of time that it's supposed to be on your head is 25 minutes. Well, there's no way you can instantaneously, you know, within, I don't know, 30 seconds, put the rest of the dye all over your hair. I mean, it takes me about 5 or 10 minutes. And doing that, the dye was probably on my hair for about maybe 35, 40 minutes, and I know that's a long time. That being said, I waited only about 15 minutes after it was on my roots to begin doing it to the rest of my hair, because, I mean, the roots are just a smidgen lighter. Yeah, the roots are a little lighter and a little more red than the rest of my hair. So, if you really want it to be uniform, maybe shouldn't do it if your hair's really light. They say not to go within 2 color shades. Well, this is 535. So it says here, your natural color, light brown. I think I talked about this before. I don't know which part I'll use. But your natural color is light brown, medium brown to dark brown, or black. And it doesn't say anything about your hair being dark blonde and using this. And I think it's because it does pick up so much more of the red and it does develop so much faster. I can't necessarily say how it does turn out on darker hair. And another thing I do with it is I do put it on my eyebrows, and I know you're not supposed to, and excuse my eyebrows because I'm growing them in a little more to change them again. But what I do, and if you do this, it's not my fault if you go blind. What I do is I put a little on a Q-tip and then put that on my brows and let it develop for about 7 to 10 minutes. This time it did take, and again, excuse my brows. I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well. But it did take a little bit better this time. But it doesn't, my eyebrows naturally are very, very dark. They're almost black. Well, that's not entirely true because there is gold and blonde in them. But they're very dark naturally. So, it doesn't take that well. It doesn't. They'll never. When I put this on my hair, they'll never turn out like as my hair, unless I'm dyeing my hair black. Then it'll probably turn out just fine. I know you're not supposed to do it, but I want my brows to at least look somewhat similar to the color of my hair, so it doesn't look as obvious that it's not my real color. And I do put it on, what I do is I put a little on a Q-tip and I let it sit, I put it on. What I do is I put a little bit on a Q-tip and then I put it on my eyebrow I let it,